Yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy Juan from Tsunami Fitness. And today I just want to share with you, that I finished my sober summer challenge. It was 31 days. I did the month of July of no drinking alcohol, which I was already practicing. I just pretty much drank occasionally. And, I actually stopped for a couple years. And before that, I stopped for a couple years. And after that, I would just drink occasionally, thinking like it would be okay if I had a drink or two. And every time I did it, I would regret it. And I just realized that it wasn't something for me. It wasn't something I wanted for my life. It wasn't something conducive to my goals and where I wanted to be. So I just wanted to create a challenge that might help others, overcome the things that I've overcome and have somebody there in support. I did it on my own with my own reasons, and I know sometimes it's hard just to stop something that you're used to doing all the time, especially something that we think like is like the basis of our social life and why we are able to go have fun and stuff like that. But that's all conditioning that you need to like reevaluate and understand that it's not true. It's only true because you keep telling yourself that. So I did this sober summer challenge. For me, it was mostly quitting smoking weed. And I didn't really think like it was a problem. I didn't think like it was consuming my life or anything. The main reason I stopped was because I'm working out really hard. I trained Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and boxing. And I was working out really hard and trying to lose some weight, but it didn't seem like I was getting the results I wanted as far as like my body composition. And I was getting in better shape for sure. I was feeling better, but I didn't get the aesthetic result that I wanted. And I realized that I was just overeating. I would just, I would train hard, come home, smoke a little bit, and relax. And, I didn't see anything wrong with it, but it would always kind of lead to the munchies. And I would overconsume just food in general. I'm vegan too. Like I don't eat meat. I try not to eat a lot of junk, but I do like to snack on like chips and like peanuts and like ice cream, little stuff like that is still vegan, like the vegan versions of those things, but I'm still over consuming these calories and not tracking my macros and things like that. So that's kind of how this challenge started. It was quitting smoking weed for me personally and helping people overcome alcohol, because it was something that I saw positive in my life. And I never saw alcohol as leading to anything good. For me in general, like I'm a bartender, so I work in bars and restaurants, and I have for over, like 15 years or something crazy like that. And it never led me to any positive place. It only led to more trouble. It only led to more like depressed feelings. It only left me feeling empty. And once I decided to kind of leave that behind, I left that emptiness behind because I was able to fulfill myself in many other ways. And I focused more on my training, on my martial arts, on my mindset, on reading. I'm also a stepfather, so I focused on leading my sons by example and not just preaching stuff that you're supposed to do but you don't do. I hated being like a hypocrite in that way, so I wanted to lead by example. And so that's kind of how this started. And so I decided to stop smoking weed. Plus, when I would go smoke weed, I had to go outside. It wasn't something that I could do in front of my family. And for me, it's like you have to hide something from your family. I feel like that's not a positive. That's something that's not good. So that was kind of like the determining factor. Like I would have to like go outside, and if I smoked a blunt or something, I would come back inside, and like my stepson would smell me. He'd be like, "What are you doing?" Like he would know like I'll be smoking or something. And and I smelled like cigar. He's like, "You smell like cigar," and I just didn't like the feeling that it gave me when he would call me out like that. And it's just being super honest. Like I smell like cigar, but I knew that it was something that I wouldn't want him to do. So why would I be practicing this and doing this all the time? I'd have to lead by example if I were ever going to say, hey, you don't need to do this. You need to just kind of stay away from this. It's just for adults. I think that's kind of like a weird excuse. So I decided to do away with that, right? And I did 30 days. I did 31 days the month of July. I did the challenge where I did 31 burpees every day. I worked out every day. I watch a lot of Wes Watson, so he preaches like waking up early, getting your mindset right, practicing positive daily habits, and stacking up those wins. And so that's what I did. I just tried to stack up wins every morning and wake up earlier than I'm used to. It started with like 6 a.m. Then it started with like 5:30, 5, and then 4:30, and now it's at like 4 a.m. I wake up at 4:15 a.m. Today I woke up 4:15, no alarm. Like I didn't have my watch or anything on. I just kind of woke up, and my body was like, hey, let's go. So I got used to it. And it's hard. It's hard at first, but I would wake up early, and then I would kind of like, it would clash between the time that my kids would get ready and my girl would get ready, and I felt like that wasn't right. So I would have to wake up before them so I can get my workout done, get time for myself, all of us get ready, and then go about our day. And that way I feel good, and any task that I'm approached with later in the day, especially if it's a physical task, it's going to be a lot easier because I'm already warmed up. I already pushed the weights, I already went on the stairs for 40 minutes. That's like my cardio. And then on the weekends, I've been training, just sparring with my teammates. So I've been doing a lot of vigorous exercises, and I wasn't getting results. So I decided, what if I stopped smoking weed? And I'm like, okay, well, what if I created a challenge behind it? And what if I included alcohol and kind of promoted this lifestyle that I'm living and that I want to live, for the rest of my life? And I got a lot of good results. I got a lot of people reaching out on the low. Like people don't want to comment on the stuff. Like I would do lives of my workouts and try to share something, reflection that came to me, and I would do these lives, and some people wouldn't respond to the live, but they would respond in my DMs, and they wouldn't respond on comments, but they would hit me on DMs, be like, hey, I'm super motivated by what you're doing. I'm inspired by what you're doing. I'm being pushed by your example, and those things helped me be even more disciplined and even more motivated because I knew I was helping somebody. Even if it's just like one or two individuals, that will bring you up. That feeling of helping people is, I think, one of the most satisfying things, especially for men. I feel like ultimately we want to be fathers, right? We want to be leaders of a household, but we also want to be leaders in our community. And that's how we build these strong communities, when we have a lot of positive role models and positive leaders out in the world. So I'm just trying to do my part within my small community. So anyways, a lot of people were reaching out, and it kept me going. A lot of the times I felt like I was alone in this challenge, and you know what? That's how life's gonna be. You're gonna have challenges and obstacles that you have to overcome, and you're gonna have to do it alone. If it's something that you really want, you're gonna have to find the reasons behind why you want that for yourself, and go after it. And so that's what I did. I just kept consistent. I kept with my discipline. I kept I kept going to the point where I'm like, you know what? I'm not getting the result I wanted. Excuse me. I'm not getting the result I wanted. So I kind of had to look into what I was eating. And I'm like, you know what? Let me dive into macronutrients, because I understand that these macronutrients, proteins, carbohydrates, and fats are the basis of what your body needs to sustain itself, build muscle, and go about your day and live like a healthy life. So you have to have certain proportions based on your goals, certain calories based on your goals. And so I started to dial in on those numbers and realize that there's formulas for each type of goal that you want, and everyone has a different number or formula, basically. And so I'm working on figuring mine out. I only been tracking for like 2 weeks, but honestly, instantly I found results. Like within 3-4 days, I saw pounds dropping that I wasn't seeing before. And I knew that was the difference, because everything was the same. I was waking up early, I was working out hard, I was eating healthy, but I started to track exactly the proportions of what I was eating and how many calories I'm consuming. And literally within like a couple of days, like I'm not even kidding, within 3-4 days, I saw the scale drop, and I saw my body fat percentage start to leave and my muscle percent stay the same. So throughout the whole entirety of my challenge, I stayed at 33% muscle, I have a scale. I would really recommend investing in a scale that tracks that for you, where you kind of put in your height, your weight, your age, your activity level, and it'll give you a number of calories that you're supposed to consume per day. It'll give you your BMI, your water weight, your muscle mass, and your body fat percentage. So that's what I have. It maybe cost like $50 that I invested a while back because I train jujitsu, and so I try to establish those numbers on the scale when I'm cutting weight. But really, I realized that it's easier to be more consistent instead of doing like a massive weight cut, because you're just draining your body of water. You're not necessarily losing fat, and you might even be losing muscle, to be honest, because your body's just eating at your muscle, and you're not consuming the proper amount of protein to keep that and sustain that. So I started tracking with this scale, and or with the help of this scale, I started to track my numbers and my calories. And over the past 2 weeks, I feel like it's made such a difference. And I was already doing like intermittent fasting, but the problem was I was eating way too much in the window that I was allowed to eat. I was just over consuming because I love food, and I'm just like smashing all this food. I work out hard, so I think I'm gonna need all these calories. But if you're trying to drop body fat, like specifically body fat, then you have to be in a calorie deficit, and you have to have a certain amount of protein to keep the muscle that you already have, so your body's not eating at your muscle. So I started to learn and dial in these things and practice these things throughout my challenge. My challenge had nothing to do with my diet. It just had to do with really the smoking habit and the drinking and promoting a positive lifestyle. But through this journey, I ended up starting to track my macros and understanding that your body composition is just based on a formula. And I've always been good at understanding like mathematical formulas and patterns and sequences, and seeing, how different factors affect those patterns, basically. So it's super easy for me to understand, and it made a lot of logical sense. I just wasn't putting it into practice. I was thinking that working out hard twice a day, once a day, doing weights and cardio was enough, but it wasn't necessarily for my goals, because I was over consumed, and that's where my problem was lying. And so I finished the 30 days. I did 31 burpees every day, and I felt like people that started with me didn't end up with me, like didn't finish the challenge. So it's like I felt like I was the only one. But I also feel very fulfilled by that. But I was able to keep discipline. I was able to keep this lifestyle going. And I want to continue beyond the 30 days. It was just a challenge issued to make it public, basically, to have people join me if that's kind of what mindset they wanted to be on. I want to be, eventually I want to be a coach. Eventually I want to lead people into this lifestyle. But first I have to have these certain results. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm figuring out the results. I'm figuring out the formulas to get the results, the habits necessary to get the results. So then I can become someone that you all trust and understand that, hey, he's done this before. He's not just talking out of his ass, or he didn't just study this in a book. He's not just regurgitating things that he saw in a book. It's study, and it's practice, and then it's results. So if you have to do that, you have to have that to be legit. Otherwise, you're just repeating something you heard or repeating somebody else's work. But what about the work that your experience? You have to have that type of first-hand experience in doing something like this in order to coach people through their own difficulties, because you have had to experience them yourself. And so that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm here. I'm posting on YouTube. I'm posting a lot more on Instagram, but YouTube is something that I want to tap into, and I want to create an organic following on YouTube. So you're going to see me post a lot of jiu-jitsu videos, a lot of jiu-jitsu, like, I guess, highlights, but they're just in the practice room. I do want to do more competitions so I can get some actual live highlights. But for now, we're just posting like stuff that we do in the gym, training with my training partners, and little techniques that we're working on, and just training for fun, but training hard. The expression is train hard and fight easy. And so that's kind of like the lifestyle I want to live. It's just like live a hard lifestyle, live a more disciplined lifestyle, something that's not common amongst everyone else. And then, when you are presented with adversities in your life, they're easy to overcome because you're already doing this every day. You're already making life hard for yourself. So when life comes at you, you're ready, you're prepared. Long time ago, my cousin showed me these old school Kendrick Lamar albums when he was still K Dot, and in one of those mixtapes, it says the 5 P's. It says proper preparation prevents poor performance. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm preparing myself for any adversity that life comes at me. And I'm trying to lead my family by example, by being a positive example, having a positive mindset. And don't get me wrong, things are always hard when you're in a family, when you're trying to lead a family, when you're being a father, when you're trying to balance your relationship and your fatherhood, because each one of those individuals requires certain things of you. So it's pretty hard, and I'm not perfect at it. But I figure I start with this whole fitness thing. I start with the macros. I start with the dropping the vices, because I follow a lot of motivational speakers, like Wes Watson, for instance, and Yados is like one of his students, but he kind of already started on his own before. So I follow these people who are presenting these universal truths to the world, and these truths are like unavoidable. Once you hear them, you can't unhear them, and you can't be unexposed to them. So my mind is like, okay, well, now that you understand this, you can't go back to the old way of living, because you know that it's not conducive to where you want to be in life. So that's what this whole sober summer challenge was. If you guys want to check me out on Tsunami Fit SD on Instagram, I kind of documented the process, documented those burpees and those challenges that I overcame, the positive self-talk that I was utilizing throughout the whole challenge. I thought it was very important to have a live feed and then post it, because a lot of trainers and a lot of coaches, they like post for pictures and they pose for workouts, and all their workouts online are like structured and they look cute and da da da, but it's not a pretty journey. It's not an easy journey. So I wanted to show you what I look like sweating, what I look like exhausted, when my heart rate's going over like 170, 160. I want to show you what that looks like, and how I'm breathing and how I'm talking to myself. And that's the real effort that it takes. It's not just this pretty little workout that you post on Instagram and people are going to get results. You have to present the real stuff to them, which is your mindset. Your mindset overcomes all those doubts, all those times that you want to stop in the workout, and you overcome your own self-defeating mentality. And that's what makes you stronger in this life. And that's what I'm learning along this journey. And that's what I've been learning with this Sober Summer Challenge. And so I just wanted to hop on here and just share that message with you. And hopefully you continue to watch the channel. I'm going to have a lot more positive videos and videos about things that I like. You know, I'm into Ninja Turtles. I grew up watching Ninja Turtles. And, you know, I grew up, now I as a man, I'm a martial artist, and I practice boxing and jiu-jitsu, and I feel like that had a big influence on my life. And my younger stepson, well, both my stepsons are actually gamers, and so for a while I kind of went away. I was gaming a lot back in the day, and I kind of went away from that, because I started drinking, I started hanging out with stupid people and doing stupid shit and stuff like that. But once I prioritize my family against and had a family. I basically had a family from one day to the next, and they kind of brought me back into that whole mindset of like this whole fun lifestyle that I used to live, and now it's like a hobby for me. It's something that I share with both my stepsons as something that we bond together with, and it's something that's safe and it's at home, and I can keep an eye on them, and it's something that I can kind of do while I rest from training, because I train really hard. So sometimes I'm at home and I just kind of pick up the video game when I'm kind of hanging out, jump on the chat with them, and it's just a way to bond with them and hang out. So I show a lot of Ninja Turtle stuff. We're into Pokemon Go and stuff like that, you know. So it's kind of like our little family hobbies that we like to do, that helps us bond together. And I maybe got out of control with the whole Ninja Turtle stuff. But, you know, it's fun, and it's a harmless hobby, and I think it's super cool. But that's just me. That's just me being authentic, and me showing you who I really am. And I think that's what's important about building your own personal brand, is authenticity. And so that's why I show the hard workouts. That's why I show the training in the training room. I show you the results, and I'm going to document this journey as we continue to get better, and hopefully I can provide some feedback from my journey that gives you some help on your journey. All right, so that's all I wanted to jump on here and share with you. Is I did the Sober Summer Challenge. I'm going to keep posting. I'm going to keep documenting what's going on. This video is like 20 minutes. I don't know if anyone's going to watch this, but that's what it is. You know, it's your boy. I used to call myself Don Juan because I wanted to be a rapper, right? So now I'm Don Tsunami because I'm all about Tsunami Fit Life. And when I think about a tsunami, I used to have this reoccurring dream as a kid that a tsunami would kind of overcome Imperial Beach, where I grew up. And I always would have this dream, and I was always going to this construction site and looking for my family. And it was just this weird dream that I never knew what it meant. And so now what I interpret it as is now this positive mindset shift in my life is this wave, and it's going to consume everything in my life, and there's nowhere I can run from it. And this construction site in my dream, I feel like it was building the foundation for my life and preparing for this wave to arrive, right? But it's going to consume everything. And so that's what I think of when I think of Tsunami Fitness, is this wave of positive energy, positive mindset, positive habits that's going to consume your life. And it's not necessarily something you have to fear, but it will consume you. And so that's why I named this channel Tsunami Fit Lifestyle, because it has to do with this reoccurring dream of this wave, this unstoppable wave. And I think of that as your positive mindset. If you create this wave of positive mindset and it overcomes the rest of your life, you're going to be in a good place. So that's what this channel is about: healthy habits, healthy mindset, and improving yourself. Knowing that you're not perfect today and you're not ever going to be perfect, but that you can always strive for improvement. And I think that's what we're here for, is to get better and to share that with others, to share that with our family, to share that with our friends, our community. And that's how we build each other up. And we leave this place when we go, because we're going to go, we all go, right? When we go, it's going to be a better place for our kids and their kids. And hopefully we've built some foundation for them. So that's what this channel is about, right? See ya.